Welcome back. All right, so continuing my look at potential 2025 draft picks. Today we are talking about Porter Martone, a right winger. Something to keep in mind because usually centers end up going earlier. We'll see guys move around and a guy might slip a little bit because he's a winger. Although in this year's draft class, I don't think Porter moves down. So he's 6'3", 191 centimeters tall. He weighs 205 pounds, 93 kilos. And he does have NHL projectable size already. So Martone, for a team that's looking for a bigger player, might be a good fit. He doesn't play an overly physical game, but there is a physical side to his game. So he's ranked 3rd by Elite Prospects. He is 5th on the hockey prospect list. He is 4th on Craig Button's list. On Bob McKenzie's list, they have him 3rd. And NHL Central Scouting has him 6th amongst North American skaters. So a little bit all over, kind of, sort of, I guess, between 3rd and 6th. Either way, he should go in the top 5, but we'll talk about which teams are drafting where and who I think might take a chance with him. So last year, playing for the Steelheads in Mississauga, 60 games, 33 goals, 38 assists, 71 points. He also had 63 penalty minutes. This year, playing for the Steelheads in Brampton, 57 games, 37 goals, 61 assists. More than an assist per game, 98 points. 74 penalty minutes. So there's penalty minutes, there's a lot of points, and more than an assist per game. Not too shabby. He played at the World Juniors. In 3 games, he had a single goal. And at the Worlds, playing with the National Hockey League players at the Worlds, he played 2 games, no points. I can only imagine how beneficial that could have been to his game, being able to be at the Worlds with players like Crosby and others. So absolutely had to be ridiculous for him to be out there at the Worlds, and we'll see how things go for him from here. So, one knock on him before this season was skating, and the skating, it looks like, has improved. Every scouting report I looked at said his skating's great, skating is not going to be a problem, which, as I've mentioned in previous videos, both this year, last year, and previous years, skating is something that is really, really, like, the speed is really important. Also, the mechanics, so there are times, too, that a player might have might have pretty good speed in terms of skating, but their mechanics are seen as kind of a little bit awkward. But it sounds like everything with Martone, pretty good in terms of the skating. He is seen as a power forward by some, although he is a very good playmaker, as I mentioned, with him having more than an assist per game. At the NHL level, he will probably be a forward who can throw the occasional hit, but he's going to be seen more as a playmaker. And that being said, he also has a very good deceptive shot. He is pretty good at getting that shot on the net. And one thing to keep in mind is, if he's a really good passer and he gets a lot of assists, that's going to open up the lane a little bit for him to take that shot, right? Teams might anticipate pass, and he takes the shot instead. He's a bit inconsistent with the physical play. This is why the scouting reports seem to be, don't expect him to, go out there and throw a whole bunch of hits. He's not going to confuse you with Sherwood or Ovechkin. He's not going to be that kind of forward either, where he can score the goals and he throws all the hits too. But he is seen as being pretty big, and he's able to handle it. One thing I would say is that he's young, so that's something a team can work with him on. We have seen players come into the NHL not throwing a ton of hits, and as their career goes along, they get pretty darn good at it. He's good defensively. There's room for improvement there. Depending on the game that was being scouted, he was either very good, very smart, or at times he could be caught out of position. He might be outworked in certain situations. But it sounds like that's the kind of thing that, with a young player, good scouting leads to good coaching, and the right coach could absolutely train him up so that his defensive game gets a heck of a lot better. He is seen as a potential first liner in the National Hockey League. So, and while that may seem like, well, of course, being drafted this early, you should be a first liner. Really, in all honesty, in the draft, there's not always a lot of first line players that come out of any given draft class. You can get good second liners, sometimes third liners, and we can sort of shrug our shoulders and go, well, that wasn't worth it. But seriously, second and third liners are still important. Ask Florida, ask Edmonton right now. But being seen as a potential first liner, if he's drafted by the right team, who knows? So I wanted to look at who's drafting between 3rd and 7th, because this is kind of perfect. First off, 3rd, you have Chicago. Chicago may very well look at this all-around physical package and say, you know what? We can put him with Nazar and Bedard and whatnot, and he may fit right in. Utah, I don't think he gets past Utah. Something tells me that if he's still available at 4, Utah doesn't pass on him. In the event that they did, I can't see Nashville passing on a forward like this. And what's interesting to me is you've got Nashville at 5, Philadelphia at 6, and Boston at 7. And all three of those teams are kind of known for the physical players that they've had throughout the last, say, 20, 30, 40 years. Obviously, Nashville hasn't been around 30, 40 years. But, yeah, I can't see him sliding very far. I do wonder if, like Boston at 7, would they try to trade up if he's available at 4? Would that be the kind of forward that Boston would be looking at and saying, that's the guy we need. He's a playmaker. Although with Boston, I feel like they need a center. But either way, he is going to be a National Hockey League player in all likelihood, and it sounds like he's going to be a very good playmaker at the very least, and with the right coaching and the right training, could end up being a pretty good power forward in the NHL. But whether he is or isn't a power forward, he is seen as being an excellent prospect and could end up going as high as 3rd, although I did see one scouting report saying his skill level, he could be number 1 overall. So we'll see. This draft is seen as pretty wide open, but there's some very, very good prospects in this draft. And so here we are. Let me know your thoughts. Where do you think Martone ends up in this draft? Who do you think needs him, and who do you think ends up drafting him? Not necessarily the same team in that, is it? Sometimes the team that needs him isn't the one that gets him. Let's say Nashville. I could say, again, probably needs a player like this, but maybe he ends up going to Utah before Nashville gets the chance. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support, as always. I will talk to you again soon.